Once upon a time, there was a wealthy merchant who lived in a grand mansion with his 3 daughters. His 2 older daughters were selfish and materialistic, while his youngest, named Belle, which means beauty in French, was kind, humble, and loved to read. She was known for her exceptional beauty and a pure heart. One day, the merchant lost all his wealth in a terrible storm at sea. He and his daughters were forced to move to a small cottage in the countryside and live a simple life. The older sisters complained constantly, but Belle adapted and worked hard to help her family. Later, the merchant received news that one of his ships might have survived the storm. He decided to travel to the port to see if he could recover some of his fortune. Before he left, he asked his daughters what they would like him to bring back. The older sisters asked for expensive jewels and fine dresses, but Belle, knowing their poverty, only asked for a simple rose. On his way back, the merchant's path was blocked by a sudden storm. He sought shelter and stumbled upon a magnificent enchanted castle. He found the castle empty but filled with food and comforts, so he rested there. As he was leaving, he noticed a beautiful rose garden. Remembering his promise to Belle, he picked a single rose. Suddenly, a monstrous beast appeared, roaring with fury. He was the master of the castle and the garden. The beast was enraged that the merchant had taken his most prized possession after all his hospitality. He declared that the merchant must die for his thieving. The terrified merchant begged for his life, explaining that the rose was for his daughter. The beast, moved by his plea, agreed to spare him on one condition: one of his daughters must come to the castle and take his place. He gave the merchant a horse and a chest of gold to help him return home and explain the situation. Upon hearing the dreadful news, Belle immediately decided to go to the castle to save her father. Despite her father's protests, she bravely rode the horse back to the castle. The beast welcomed her with a strange mixture of politeness and gruffness. He assigned her a beautiful room and let her wander the castle freely. Belle was amazed by the enchanted objects and the magical atmosphere. She saw talking furniture, dancing plates, and a library more vast than she could ever imagine. The beast, however, remained a lonely and misunderstood figure. The beast and Belle began to spend time together. He would join her for dinner, and they would have long conversations. Belle learned that behind his monstrous appearance, the beast was kind and gentle. He was cursed by an enchantress for his selfishness and cruelty, and could only be saved by true love. He had to find someone to love him for who he was, and break the spell before the last petal of a magical rose fell. As time passed, Belle's love for the beast grew. One night, Belle had a vision in the magic mirror of her father being very ill. She asked the beast to let her go home. The beast, heartbroken but seeing her pain, let her go, giving her the magic mirror and a ring that would bring her back to the castle. Belle found her father on his deathbed. She nursed him back to health and told him all about her life with the beast. When the older sisters heard about the beast's wealth, they became jealous and tried to trick Belle into staying away from the castle longer so the beast would die and they could get his fortune. As Belle looked in the magic mirror, she saw the beast lying in the rose garden, dying of a broken heart. She quickly used the magical ring to return to him. Finding him almost lifeless, Belle wept and confessed her true love for him. She said, "I love you, my dear beast." As her tears fell on him, the beast's curse was broken. He was transformed back into a handsome prince. Belle and the prince embraced, and they were married. They all lived happily ever after, and Belle's family was well cared for. The story teaches that true beauty comes from within, and that love can overcome any obstacle.